What's up, guys? Andrew here from IGN, once again with Josh Jeffkcout from Gearbox. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
I almost said Joshcoat. I apologize in advance.
You would not be the first.
And we're looking at the second Headhunter Pack for Borderlands 2, this one called The Horrible Hunger of the Ravenous Wattle Gobbler.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
It is indeed. Much like the holiday this is based on, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, this one should be out in time for Thanksgiving, and so that's sort of our theme running through this whole one right here. So as we're going to start here, we're actually backstage of a TV show production that's being hosted by Mr. Torg. So it's Mr. Torg's Hunger for Violence extravaganza. Excellent. So he has a little production that he's putting on here for you. But we're going to go in, we're going to pay our ticket to get in, and we're going to go watch a little show.
And I see that this mission is called The Hunger Pangs up there, which...
Yeah, it's sort of a play on a movie you might have heard of that's also about food, or not having food, as it were. So here we are at Mr. Torg's Studio of Awesome. He's hosting a TV show. It's actually sort of a reality show about basically a combat spectacular. And the only person we have left here, you see they're on stage tied to a chair. They're the only person to previously survive an encounter with the Ravenous Wattle Gobbler. And Torg's doing a little interview session with them, but I don't think we really have time to wait for that, so let's just kind of kick through it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I do love how far the character is. That wasn't good.
Yeah. So he doesn't actually survive. So Torg is real happy to be hosting everything here, but he has a special mission for you. Turns out the fight with the Wattle Gobbler is rigged, and it's actually completely invincible. There's no way to actually beat it. So what we're going to do is that we're going to sneak into the kitchen prep area where they make the meals for it, and we're going to poison it first so that it kind of lets its guard down a little bit, and then maybe we'd be able to survive a fight with it.
Excellent. And we should point out for anyone watching this for the first time, these Headhunter Packs, the idea is that you do some story content, a quick mission, and you get to this boss where you can fight it when it's head, and get some other little bonuses. Also, I want them dead so I can eat them.
So Torg's going to let us into the kitchen backstage here, and this is going to be the center of the area that we're going to be submitting most of this level in. So we have this massive industrial kitchen because they have to prepare a lot of food to feed the boss monster. So
awesome.
Let's head on in there.
Yeah, it's cool to have another Torg-themed mission that takes place in kind of one central place. He likes his arenas for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, we love Torg because he's so over the top in everything that he does. So, and it gives us an excuse to do some loud and crazy things that we wouldn't normally do, but...
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I started saying before, it's funny how far the character of Torg has come from, a funny gag in the main game, and now he, has this identity.
Yeah. He's actually been one of our most popular characters, and that's basically come about after he had his own DLC. So he was extremely well received, and we love writing for him just because he's so silly. So it's always a lot of fun to make missions with him involved, because things can go out of control so quickly.
It's cool here. You see some kind of kitchen-themed enemies. It looks like we saw a chef, I believe.
Yeah, we got some fry cooks and some chefs. Here we have Chef Gouda Ramsay. Actually, and if you look carefully, you shot his hat off, and then we actually have a rat under his hat, who's now running around the floor over here. So we're introducing President Smith here, who is the president of Torg Corporation. If you really dig into the story elements that are there, you realize that Torg does not own Torg Corporation. He's actually just the spokesman because he sold it a long time ago. And so we go into some backstory for that here. You actually kind of figure out the circumstances in which all that happened and what the Torg Corporation is really about, since Torg doesn't actually run it. So there's lots of interesting story elements kind of going on in the background too.
Yeah, it's cool that you guys have been able to weave that much in. I like that these are kind of furthering the story in addition to adding new enemies and some other good stuff. And I think it's interesting that, obviously what we saw before in TK Baja's Bloody Harvest was very, thematically, based on the holiday of Halloween. I think it's cool here, we talked a little earlier about this is kind of the wider themes of Thanksgiving. The idea here being that, it is about food, it is about, eating and things like that.
It's hard to pull off Thanksgiving as a place because everyone's Thanksgiving. It's about family and eating too much food, but that's not really a specific, that's different for everyone. Right. In order to make it about food, we're in basically a food preparation area. So we're in the deep freezers. You'll see skag meat up on hooks, kind of moving around through the areas, and we got to pick up some skag meat because that's what the Wattle Gobbler is going to be eating. But after we pick it up, we're going to do a few things to it before he gets to eat it. So.
Yeah, it's interesting too how you guys have once again kind of been able to bring back a few enemies that are more appropriate for this kind of zone.
But we customize all of them. So the fry cooks, they have their little fry hats and stuff. We have a lot of fun dressing up all the enemies and trying to theme them out a little bit.
Yeah, it's been cool seeing that.
Oh, you just stepped into the meat grinder. Yeah, the meat grinders are dangerous, so don't step there.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to learn that lesson for sure.
There's just a couple. You'll also notice that flying around, if you see the little camera right there, those are the Torg Vision cameras. They're actually filming the whole thing for the TV show. So we're actually broadcasting what the player's doing to the people of Pandora because it's all part of the spectacle leading up to the Torg fight with the Wattle Gobbler at the end.
That certainly feels like something people on Pandora would be watching.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's Pandora is very much about blood sport, so. But while we're in here, let's see, we have another piece of skag meat to pick up. You can probably jump and grab it up there. And we got to give it a big meal, so we're going to get 3 pieces of skag meat. So the last piece is going to be up in the room behind him here.
You have to love how excited Torg always is about giving.
Oh, he is. There's no subtext with Torg. It's all just right on the surface. He's just super excited about everything. So. Now the next room, we do actually have a new little story moment that's going to be happening. Why don't you go ahead and head on in? You're not the only contestant here for the fight today, so we're about to meet a few more of them. But we really want that last piece of meat first.
I don't know what you're planning, but I don't like it. Tributes, get the Vault Hunter out of my kitchen.
So we actually have tributes from lots of different parts of Pandora present here. They fight in pairs, and they're there to represent their own unique locations from all over Pandora. So we have 2 pirates here from Warmwater, who you might remember from the first Borderlands 2 DLC. So they're here as just a little mini boss encounter. We have a young boy here with a shield that reflects all your shots, so you have to make sure that he's not aiming that at you before you shoot him. But you'll see a couple of different sets of tributes. We represent a lot of different people of Pandora in this DLC actually, and they all have unique behaviors and new costumes and stuff to really kind of bring in a lot of flavor from lots and lots of different parts of the planet.
That's awesome. We talked about with TK Baja as well. Like it's cool how you guys are able to weave in some of those things to make Pandora feel like a real place. Like these aren't forgotten things because you're past that DLC pack. These are things that exist within this world.
Oh yeah, we always try to keep the world like this big cohesive thing. So we're always trying to roll stuff back in. So we love working in the world. So it's always best to try to keep it as believable as possible.
Very cool. And are there any new, as you're going through here, any new kinds of themed equipment or anything, or is it still kind of your standard tool set?
This is all just your standard tool set that you're going to find in here. So all the uniqueness is going to come from, we have a couple of brand new enemies that you'll see later on in the DLC. And lots of reworking of existing enemies that do new and different things. And then, of course, the locations are all new, and we put a lot of love into this. So we're going to prepare that meat for the Wattle Gobbler here.
I see those grinders do come in handy.
Oh yeah, they're not just for show.
Man, 3 skags. He's hungry.
He's a big guy. So now we've got some meat, but some meat alone is not going to cut it. We're actually going to have to poison that meat first. So we're going to actually get some all-natural poison, nothing artificial here. So we're going to go find some of the natural creatures in this area and see if we can get something poisonous from them.
And so Torg is aware that you're poisoning the Wattle Gobbler.
Oh yeah, no, it's Torg's idea because Torg knows that the show is rigged, but he's friends with all the Vault Hunters because they've done so much work for him in the past. So he wants them to be the ones to win the tournament, basically. Unfortunately, Mr. Smith, President Smith here, is not going to allow us to get out to where the creatures are, and he's going to send some more tributes after us first.
Yeah, because he's making so much money from the show.
Yeah, he doesn't want us to kill the turkey, the Wattle Gobbler, so, yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, you got this. Yeah. So we got a couple of Hyperion engineers from Opportunity with some new jump jet tactics and some other stuff here, but... So Torg's helping you out, kind of blowing open a few doors for you just to make sure you always get where you need to get going.
His dialogue is so good.
Oh, it's an absolute joy to just listen to him, so...
So these are new creatures within this area, then?
Yeah, these are the Stabber Jabbers, which also might remind you of something from some other book or film that you've seen lately. But they're highly poisonous, and they're already poisonous by themselves, but to make them extra poisonous, you have to slag them first. So if you can kill them while they're slagged, their stingers will break off, and then you can grab the stingers. So yeah, Torg's telling us one stinger alone would be enough to kill a rack hive, but let's get 3 just to be safe.
As you said, he's a big guy.
He's a big guy. All right. So we got enough poison to go here. We can probably go run back inside and leave the Stabber Jabbers alone. They didn't do anything to us. We sat there and messed with them, so.
Controlling share of your own company. I knew I should have killed you when I had the chance.
So we're going to head back into the kitchen here and complete step 2 in the food preparation process.
I'll add the poison glands to the marination vat.
So we have a big vat of gravy down here. We're going to drop some poison into it, make it nice and slagged. And then we're going to pour some poison on our food. Let's go add some gravy.
I feel kind of bad for the Wattle Gobbler at the moment, not having met him.
Oh, no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
I guess he's killed like hundreds
He's killed hundreds of people.
Yeah. Just saying, if I sat down and had some lunch and it was poisoned, I'd probably feel pretty bad about it.
Poison slop. Look at that mess. It's gross. So now we're going to put it in the oven, and we're going to start it cooking. So now we have just really pissed off all the kitchen staff, so they're all going to come out of the woodworks here and try to stop us from poisoning the gobbler. So we have there'll be a few new enemies that kind of show up during this fight here. We have some lovely little midget chefs will come out, and they are determined to stop the oven. So they're going to rush over here to try to hit that button and keep you from cooking the food. So you got to defend that while you're taking care of everything else in the kitchen.
I was impressed with how much detail goes into kind of creating these new, themed enemies for these sections.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and you can open up that oven and get ammo out of it too. All of the ovens are interactive, so you can loot them for ammo and cash and stuff. So.
I really like the name of some of these guys, like Chef Brûlé.
Yeah, Chef Brûlé, he's one of our little, he's one of our named enemies, so he's a little bit harder than the rest, and he hurts you pretty bad, so you gotta really be careful when he's got that flamethrower out. Oh, we have our little midget chef, didn't make it. So we're about halfway done with the cook. We're doing pretty good here.
Yeah, not bad. It is a pretty intense, it's like a small space to be fighting this many guys.
Yeah,
yeah. A little bit of room to maneuver.
So, and you don't have to restart if you fail here. They just stop the oven, you just start it, and it just keeps cooking right where it left off. So
yeah, it's sort of like when you're waiting for the fast travel station to drop.
Actually, it's very much like that. We don't want to punish players if they, if an enemy can actually interrupt the cook. We're not going to start it over. So we try to make this content really accessible for all skill levels of play. So.
I think that's what's cool about Borderlands in general is like even dying just falls, you lose money, but
everything just keeps going.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's fair because it's like no one, it's never fun to have to replay something over and over and over again.
Right. No, we try to be fun and give players a fair chance to do everything. So, oh look, let's see, we're done with the cook here. So we're just gonna finish cleaning up here in the kitchen, and then we can take food out of the oven and send it off on its way.
Awesome.
Is that everybody left? I think we're done.
Oof.
So it's a huge mechanical oven. The food actually comes out on the second story.
I can't even
For
imagine.
no reason.
Yeah,
For no
I
reason.
can't even imagine
Yeah.
how big the Wattle Gobbler is at this point.
So it's all nice, pretty, and baked with staples, because Borderlands.
Well, cool. I think, we'll let that be delivered to the Wattle Gobbler, who I think will eventually let you guys see for yourself. But Josh, I definitely appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, thanks.
And for any of your Borderlands needs, keep coming back to IGN.